Hey, it's Matt from the Light 98.7 Most Music Morning Show, and I'm here with...
Deb Cabral, the DeClutter Coach.
And we're behind the scenes at...
Transformation Thursday at Light 98.7.
So professional.
I'm hanging around with him too much, so I really start to use my radio voice.
Hi, I'm Matt, and this is my radio voice.
Well, you know what? People say that I have a very high-pitched voice.
Really?
And I actually had somebody approach me and said, we really love your television show, but you should tone your voice down. And I'm like, I am who I am. I can't help who I am. This is my voice.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, is that a compliment or a...
Jealous.
Yeah, I don't know. So I said, well, thank you so much. I always love to get constructive criticism.
Right. Okay. I'm waiting for the day when somebody calls to tell me that. You know, I love your show, except that you sound like a girl on the air.
No, this was in person, so that made me even more off.
Wow.
You know?
Okay. All right.
So what are we going to talk about today?
5 habits of people who always get promoted.
Yes. And, you know, we say it's really cool for those people, but sometimes other people say, I want it to be me. What do I need to do so that I can get there?
Okay.
Correct?
Right.
So number 1 is they choose the right environment for their talents. So this is so important because, you know, you really need to have the skills and abilities to be able to do a certain job. And sometimes people, instead of wanting to work their way up the ladder or up to those jobs, they want to start right away. And some people are fortunate enough that they get those jobs, but they're usually not successful because they don't have the skills to be able to do them. So stick with what you're good at and what your talents are.
So if you're a plumber, you don't want to try to be a DJ.
Right.
And I definitely don't want to be a plumber.
Yeah, I would think that wouldn't be a good thing. Although you seem to be really good with all those knobs and buttons on. I still think you should be an airline pilot because it's probably got the same board.
I can think of several people who would totally not agree with that. Okay.
The other thing is they pay attention to what their boss values the most. And you got me on this earlier.
I did. Oh, because I said kind of, yeah, should we kiss up to the boss?
Yes. And I said, no, that's not what it's about. But in a way it is a little bit. You know, you need to be in tune with what your boss wants. So when you're part of a team, if you have a different agenda than your boss, that's not going to work.
Right.
You need to be kind of following his or her lead and be a good, valued part of the team. You know, I got your back. I'm pushing your message. I'm doing, you know, what your goal and objective is for the department or the company or the organization. If you don't, chances are you're not going to get promoted.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
The third one is...
Pay attention to... No, that's not the third one. They focus on both daily responsibilities and big picture thinking.
I love this. I talk about big picture thinking all the time when I do my corporate trainings because sometimes we get so bogged down in the minutia. I have to do this. I have to do this. I have my to-do list. These are the 5 things I have to do today. But to be able to get yourself promoted, you really need to be thinking futuristically. Like, what else can I do to help advance the goals of the department? Or what else can I do to bring more revenue into the business? People kind of get bogged down in the day-to-day responsibilities, but don't look at the big picture. And the people that look at the big picture are the ones that most likely get promoted.
Okay.
Yeah.
So give me an example of, like, what that might be.
Okay. So, for example, say you're working on a project. And everybody's so bogged down with this project. It's so important. It's something that you have to do. You're looking at your to-do list. You're keeping it going. But there's something else that's coming down the pike. You know, you've heard from, you know, people up above that there's a new project coming.
Okay.
And so maybe you can do some research or you can find out some things or you can hear from other people or work with other people and get some inside information and then be able to say to your boss, geez, I know this project we're working on is really important, but this other one's coming down the pike. I did a little research for you. Here's my research. I just want to give it to you so that you're on board. If you have to go to a meeting, I want you to know about what's coming down the pike. Now, that takes a little bit of effort, but it's appreciated by the people above you. Now, your coworkers may think, you know, you're
kissing up.
But again, the goal is not to do it just to get promoted. The goal is to do it because you're a good part of the team. You want to help your superior. You want to make them look good. You want to be an active part of the team. You want to have a positive attitude. And that goes a long way.
Yeah, and a lot of people, I would think, they do all these extra steps because they genuinely care about what they're doing and they care about the company. It's not just to solely kiss up.
Right, yeah.
Or get promoted for that.
Other people that maybe don't have the same positive attitude and that same kind of energy and drive, they see it as that, but it really isn't. It's not a one-sided thing. When somebody does that, most people are genuine.
Right.
They're really genuine. They want to do what's best for the company. And so that's important. And then the fourth thing, I love this, they make space for bigger thinking.
Bigger thinking.
So they keep time open in their day. So they're not just, okay, I have a 9 o'clock meeting and then a 10 o'clock and then 11 o'clock and then a 12 o'clock and I go and eat lunch for 15 minutes and then I have a 12:30. you're not really able to comprehend what you've done between things. Now, granted, you're going to have some days that are like that, but people that get promoted leave time to think. I just came from this meeting. What are my 3 walkaways? What are the things I have to do? What are the things I have to follow up with some of my coworkers or someone else in another department? They really keep time in between their obligations to think and plan ahead. That's so critical, because there's no way you can go to 4 meetings and at the end of those 4 meetings say, okay, all right, I just went to these 4 meetings. What am I supposed to do at each of these? Then by then you're
information overload. Yeah.
Right. And sometimes you have no choice. Sometimes that's how your day is scheduled. But more often than not, if you can build time in for that bigger thinking and kind of follow up from what you just did and really think about it and ingrain it into, your daily habits, it makes a huge difference.
All right.
Huge difference. Okay, and number 5, for those of you that want to get promoted, I love this one.
They like and love their colleagues.
They absolutely do. And they make it a point to get to know about them. They get to know their spouses' names and their children's names and some of their hobbies, and they bring cakes in when it's their birthday and, things like that. And again, it has to be genuine, and most of the time that's people's personality. They want to get to know their coworkers, and they want to be able to have that good relationship. But when you have that synergy amongst team members, the department, the business, the organization, whatever you want to say, is going to run much more cohesively.
That sounds like Light 98.7's environment.
It does, because I've been here a lot now, and we worked with Eric and decluttered and organized his office, and it's trickled down to some of the other staff, so it's been great.
With the exception of this guy, he doesn't like people in general, Tukey.
I like Tukey, though. He's always here to kind of give me guidance, to kind of watch over me and make sure I'm not doing a bad job or saying the wrong thing.
Excellent. Well, thanks for swinging by for Behind the Scenes on Transformation Thursday.
Bye. See you next week.